Hey, what's up budget gamers of 2024? It's the first video of the new year, and in the spirit of looking forward, we're going to look at future-proofing by looking to the past. Let's warm up the flux capacitor and get to it. We find ourselves a decade ago in early 2014. The Sochi Olympics have just wrapped up. Windows 8 has recently launched and secured its place as one of the operating systems of all time. And the GTX 780 Ti has dethroned the Radeon R9 290X for the title of the most powerful graphics card on the retail market. But at this year's NAB show in Las Vegas, AMD has unleashed a cosmic entity of a card for the prosumer market. This card. This work of art, the $4,000 FirePro W9100. It's sold to people doing business for DaVinci Resolve and Photoshop or Petrel reservoir analysis, but it's a gaming card at its heart, using the same Hawaii GPU die at the core of the 290X. But this one has an unimaginable 16 gigabytes of VRAM on a colossal 512-bit bus. This card is truly peerless and will remain so for another 2 years. It is, simply put, the most future-proof GPU in the world, and we're gonna game on it. To be period correct, it's gotten stuffed into a Dell Precision T7610 with an 8-core monster of a CPU and a fitting 16 gigabytes of quad-channel DDR3. In early 2014, this would not have been a bad way to spend $10,000 for productivity, and maybe some light gaming after work hours. And in huge titles of the day, even at maximum settings for 1080p, our FirePro chews scenery like few things could. Metro Last Light is pushed to a staggering 120 FPS with a 1% low nearing 70. Saints Row 4, normally a system punisher, gets driven to almost 100 FPS on average with 1% lows right around 60. Even Far Cry 4 is a breeze for the system, delivering a buttery smooth average of just over 80 FPS with every setting turned up to 11. But that was 10 years ago. How does the most future-proof card of a decade ago fare today? Does future-proofing work for that long? Well, it's a mixed bag. Official driver support ended 2.5 years ago, and continued support relies on the r.id community drivers, which is fine when they work, but drivers aside, what once was world-beating simply isn't today. After playing with drivers for a bit, Fortnite launches in both DX11 and DX12 mode, and turns out a very playable 109 FPS average with a 1% low that stays above 65. The Finals, a DX12 only title that's red hot right now, doesn't do as well, but holds on to a very playable average over 70 FPS with consistent pacing, seeing a 1% low just above 50. Halo Infinite is unfortunately an absolute disaster, with the lowest settings still yielding an experience that's only playable if you hate yourself. The average sinks below 60 FPS and lows are in the mid-30s. Apex Legends, meanwhile, fares worst of all and flat out refuses to launch properly with the community drivers. And these are esports titles, not tentpole visual spectacles like Avatar or The Last of Us. Kind of an ouch. But wait, you say, maybe it's the rest of the system. And maybe it is. Enter this mid-range card just 5 years newer and $3,700 less expensive than the FirePro, the Radeon RX 5700. Everyone should be familiar with this budget-friendly powerhouse, so let's just drop it in and see, and oh dear god, it was definitely not the system's fault. With the swap to the slightly newer but still aging GPU, Fortnite sees the averages climb over 150 FPS with percentile lows over 100. I'm not even sure how that's possible in Stutter Night, but maybe it's a one-off. Or maybe it isn't, as the Finals climbs by more than 40 FPS on average with lows now nearing 70. Halo Infinite goes from outhouse to penthouse with a newer mid-range card, putting up almost 130 FPS on average. That's more than double. And last, Apex Legends not only launches now, in DX12 mode no less, it comes through with a slick as Teflon 140 FPS on average with percentile lows in the triple digits. Let's put a fork in the idea of future-proofing by buying absurdly expensive things then, shall we? 2014, you could have bought something like a brand new R9 280X, or even a secondhand and cheap 7870 at that point, played those exact same games, had exactly as much fun, and then purchased a brand new 5700 in 2019 to still be having a better time today, while keeping an extra $3,500 in your pocket. It isn't an entirely dead end for the W9100 though, even in 2024 and beyond, and we'll look back to this shot for a second to see if you can pick out why this card still has a place. Did you spot it? Right up there. Yeah, the W9100 is, by a wide margin, the most powerful GPU to ever ship with native S-Video support, meaning that this is an unrivaled titan for emulating older consoles to a CRT or projection TV with zero added latency. And that alone makes this card pretty sweet. Anyway, thanks for watching me show off this quirky and cool dinosaur of a card. If you liked, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.